The unfortunate death of Atul Subhash, a techie in Bengaluru, has led to a lot of uncomfortable questions as far as divorce proceedings, divorce laws and dowry laws are being implemented in this country. Atul Subhash, before he took his own life, gave a detailed video recording and also left a note behind in which he made allegations against his estranged wife's family, alleging that he was being harassed. There are false cases, he said, which have been slapped against him and his family members related to domestic violence, related to dowry harassment. He said that, custodial rights for his custodial and visitation rights for his son were being denied to him, and for everything that the wife's family allegedly is offering to him, they're demanding money. That has led to a lot of questions about what is the state of affairs for the divorce laws and as far as domestic abuse laws and also laws governing Hindu marriages are concerned. So let's take it point by point. As early as Tuesday, Supreme Court actually frowned upon the way 498A of the Indian Penal Code, the section that dealt with dowry earlier was 498A before the BNS came in, which is the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita came in. What did the Supreme Court actually say? I'm just quoting here from a bench of Justices Nagaratna and others. What this bench of Justice Nagaratna said actually is that there is a need to look at whether there is misuse as far as registering false cases against entire family of the husband is concerned. What exactly the Supreme Court is pointing out is that often it happens that there is a case of marital dispute and the wife's family or the wife names all members of the husband's family for dowry harassment, even if they are not directly involved with the criminal proceeding. That leads to a lot of tension as far as the husband's family is concerned. The other thing that is being pointed out is whether the Hindu Marriage Act 13B2, which makes continuous consent mandatory for about 18 months, prior to filing of the divorce proceedings by mutual consent also, that consent is required, and even post that. So that continuous consent sometimes becomes an impediment towards mutually agreeing to divorce or going into mediation. That's something that the lawyers are also highlighting. But the most important point that has been highlighted by legal professionals, legal experts, and also in this particular case from Bengaluru is the way the laws are getting implemented. Allegations have been made in the dying declaration of Subhash also against the judge who was presiding over his divorce proceedings. Allegations of corruption have been made, and legal experts agree that right from the stage a complaint is made to the police, and to the stage of when this matter reaches the judicial officer, there are a number of loopholes that need to be addressed. Yes, there was a point when dowry harassment and dowry related killings of young girls and wives in this country was a reality, but now it seems increasingly top courts are frowning upon this particular law getting misused to harass the husband's family, the boy's family. So should the police prima facie believe everything that a girl's family says, or should there be some kind of an unbiased investigation before you decide whether this is just a marital dispute or if indeed there is an element of criminal offence in this particular case? Stage 2 comes when the matter goes to court. There are allegations also being made that the legal fraternity needs to introspect if they should encourage their clients to go in for mediation rather than quote unquote mislead them for their own financial gains. That's also something that is of a lot of concern, that often unsuspecting husband and wife who are unable to find compatibility, they are misled by their legal advisors, and the entire case becomes very murky. The third stage of scrutiny where this case has raised questions is at the level of judicial officers themselves. Should they allow both sides to go into mediation rather than keep the case hanging? In the case of Subhash, he alleged that he was posted in Bengaluru, his case was going on in Jaunpur. To take leave every time and come to Jaunpur to face this case was also something that was taking a toll on his mental health. So all of these issues have been highlighted by this case. A lot of people are now speaking up for the rights of the men as well in such cases. Perhaps it's time to look at not just loopholes within the law to balance out the rights of the woman and the man, but also the way these laws are implemented.